next section is really fantastic.
Well, they waved them off for the first time of asking, and I'm just hoping that they square up properly next time by. To be fair, we don't get that many stallers. I remember when the new car was first introduced, it was near havoc out there, but thankfully things seem to have settled down in the technical department, and it's a rare occurrence, thank goodness.
It's still, yeah, I mean, it does occur, but it's much, as you said, the first couple of races for GP2 were very problematic, but that's to be expected, you know. So it was a brand new chassis, brand new car, and you know, things like that do happen. But the new car is now being designed. There's a new gearbox being designed, incorporated into that car. There's Souček being rolled back. So hopefully, you know, this sort of thing will be even less common than it is.
Well, Souček and DPR, Mr. Price, what went wrong? We'll find out for you, hopefully, in just a wee while. You can see where the flags are picking up. It is blustery. It does blow hot, hot and cold. It does blow strongly and then a little less so, and it really caused havoc during qualification. The hard tyres, the hard compound tyres that they have actually selected for this weekend, on such a short run as qualifying, the high wind gusts really did not help matters, and as a result, we had quite a few spinners out there today. So we're just waiting for them to get back to their grid positions. Yeah, we had a few spinners, I should say, yesterday in qualification. The feature race, we've got a sprint race tomorrow. There is one stop today, compulsory to change 2 tyres. I suspect they'll be going for all 4 as usual. So we're ready to go, racing -1. There's the light board. Going to be no messing around this time. Here we go. Bang, and underway, and a nice start as well from Zuber. Conway tries to get hold of him. A lovely little jinking move by Zaug, and Petrov further down, but Zauber's really bedded this one in, and that was a super drag by him into the first series. Then they go down to Copse. They've got to get this sorted out. They come in 3 wide, 4 wide on occasion, plenty of lines into it, but only 1 out, and they're snaking through brilliantly here. Thankfully no contact so far, but some cars running very, very wide and very close to the green stuff. They've kept it tasty, thankfully, and 35 laps it is ahead of the field here. Great start from Zuber.
Yeah, I thought he'd overdone it actually. Got somebody on the grass at the back there. Is that one of the Zaug maybe? Adrian Zaug at the back with the yellow nose?
I think it may well have been Zaug. Bruno Senna's too far back for that. Zaug already finding the slippy green stuff and on board now as we try and chase down the leaders. We've got into a real snake position earlier on here. It's difficult to get by, but there are some real places where you can manoeuvre, and the early laps, Gareth, when everyone's crammed together, this is where you may well get your chance.
Yeah, you've got to be careful not to get too carried away and trying to win the race on the first lap, but I thought Zuber, I thought he'd overdone it actually. I thought on the dirt.
He just gets the launch that he wanted. Timo Glock was going to, well, thankfully was a few places behind him and has held more or less position, Timo, but well, a great result for iSport, as thankfully now the fields do start to readjust themselves. Little look by Yamamoto to try and move up a position, trying to get by Rodriguez and Filippi out there, but apart from the front, there we are. Zuber, Conway, Di Grazzi, Timo Glock staying in 4th place, and Adam Carroll, well, just holding on, but he would have hoped for better for that at the launch there, Gareth.
Yeah, it's pretty much as you were, isn't it? Nakajima's lost a couple of places. He's down in 6th now, showing us 6th, and Glock's moved up to 4th. So somewhere on that sort of Beckett's Copse complex area, Nakajima's dropped a couple of places.
Just having a look at Vilau as well, and well, they've settled down nicely. Not much to report, thank goodness, and so different to Magny-Cours, and we're pleased about that, we have to say. A little bit of an Chanduk and Rodriguez looking to move places as well. Only 1 lap deep into this one, and positions held out front. Now, just as far as we're coming into the stop's got a yellow flag and a car already just driven out of it. Looks like it's in a safety zone there, Gareth.
Yeah, we're showing on the timing screen, it's showing backward in the pits as Souček stopped, so both DPR cars are showing us out the race.
They're having a nightmare time, DPR, you've got to say. It's been a long time since they've tasted glory.
Yeah, they have won in GP2, but really they've never been a consistent front runner, and have never really kind of been a front line team in GP2, which is strange because they've got great pedigree, great people working there. but for whatever reason, it just hasn't ever quite worked out for them.
Look at the gap between Zuber and Conway, and it's over half a second now, and Zuber got the absolute perfect start. He's been dogged by ill fortune, bad luck so far this season. And, well, as far as ill fortune is concerned, it's Christian Baccarat as well, one of those that is suffering out there. Let's take a look at that start again.
You see Zuber here just smokes the rears, I thought possibly too much, but Conway wasn't far behind when doing the same thing, so Zuber kept him at bay, and that's the important thing here. Once you've got the lead into Copse, then you're laughing, really. There's not a great deal of overtaking chances until you get to Stowe.
I think it was Pantano made a super move midfield there. Just whereabouts is he at the moment? There he is, up to 9th.
Yeah.
He started back there in 13th place. Yeah. He really did see the gap and absolutely went for it.
On the grass. That was Zaug. That's what we saw from the other end of the straight. Looking back, it was Zaug who just got forced wide by Philippi, I think, by the look of it.
Well, your binoculars clearly working there, Gareth Rees. Well called. Zaug indeed pushed just a little bit wide. His teammate, as we said, was just so much further back. But
he kind of left himself a bit open to it there. He tried to go on the outside of Philippi, and you don't do it there.
Really? How many places did he actually lose out on there?
Yeah.
Probably about 4 or 5
he dropped
cars
on the 17th,
just went by
isn't
him.
he? Yeah.
Real shame for him. So 33 laps remaining in this one as we count down, and I imagine they're going to leave this as late as possible to actually come in and change those tyres. It's going to be sort of halfway. There may well be a bit of congestion in the pits when they come in for that, Gareth.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on each driver's particular position. If you're in Zuber's position out front, then there's no rush to come in, you know, provided you're happy with the balance of the car. And you're keeping, and you are slightly quicker than Conway. That's all that matters. If you're stuck further back in the field and in a pack of cars, and you feel you could go faster if you weren't stuck in cars, get in, get new tyres on, get out in fresh air, and then get some fast times in. So it really does depend on your particular position. But whatever you do, don't pit too soon if you're going to help it, because otherwise you've got a great long run at the end of the race on a single set of tyres.
Well, there's the split between Glock and Carroll, just 0.3 of a second. But Zuber is clean away with this one. I have to say, Di Grazi's
look at the sort of chasing pack. And really this year, ART just haven't really featured. They've not led a race.
Oh, look at that. Absolutely. Round the outside. Will he hold on to it? I think he's got
Carroll over him. Glock's got Carroll over him.
Super job. And the pair of them here. Well, he lost so much momentum going through there, Gareth. They were so scared of each other coming through it, fighting to hold on. You could see the back ends coming through. And Carroll now has his chance.
He does. I mean, Glock obviously is recovering from getting past Di Grassi and getting squeezed by Di Grassi. Di Grassi didn't give him a great deal of room there and almost tried to make contact, I think. But Glock held his ground. Great move. Adam tried to capitalise on that and wasn't quite able to.
Well, what about that Senna coming in a may as well scenario? I can only imagine that he must have picked something up on his tyres there, because why on earth would you bother at this early stage? He was right at the back. He had lousy qualification, just went off and threw some hoardings. Let's have a look here. Just see, they absolutely held it off each other. I don't know how they managed to. I was expecting contact, even called it, and what a beautiful cheeky move to just go through.
It was, and particularly cheeky by Adam Carroll. He really was just sort of lurking there to take advantage and picked up Di Grassi beautifully. Yeah, Di Grassi, I don't think even saw him coming. Great move.
Super job. So Grock and Carroll both profiting there, and the pit stops have already started here earlier than we may have thought. The hard compound, they clearly believe, Gareth, that it's going to go all the way here. Well, just confirmation of the way they're standing at the moment. It'll be interesting to see who is stopping out there. Zuber, though, ahead of Conway, Glock, Adam Carroll. A brilliant move, the pair of them, Glock and Carroll, by Di Grassi. And we're in for a race here, most certainly. A lot of these drivers, it has to be said, know the course well. Whether they come through F3 or whatever, they've often visited Silverstone. And as we're the way through the field, 5 laps into this one, we have got a heat haze. Thank goodness. It means that the tyres are likely to operate and just handle themselves in a decent manner. We're just taking a look at the 25 car of Petrov,
I'm sorry,
ahead of Nicolas Lapierre. It's so difficult to tell them apart, particularly in the heat haze here, Gareth, and they don't do you any favours. The Dams and FMS cars virtually identical.
And the PK Sports and the Durango cars are identical, and the Arden cars.
We're not making excuses. We're just trying to help you out at home, provided you're getting it wrong just as much as we are. So Zuber out front, and well, he's got a very, very tasty gap, you have to say, over Mike Conway, who's done a super job. He's an amazing series of success from the front row, Conway, but I don't think he's going to catch Zuber here. 1.2 seconds, and that gap, it's more or less static, although those two really have lost everybody else. Conway and Glock are the chasers for now. But don't forget that Carroll's in the mix out there ahead of Di Grazzi and Nakajima, who's building something of a challenge here.
Di Grassi's dropping away hugely, isn't he? I mean, his last lap was a second slower than the front runners. The front running guys, Zuber, Conway, Glock.
Zhao just went off and took a piece of the stoppy board.
Lapierre's not that sort of driver.
Sometimes it's just worth losing a wheel in one race just to show those that you are prepared to go for it. There's a lot of psychology involved. It's not just about the skills that are out on track, Gareth. And, you know, if he's known to be some guy who may well just back out of it, even if they're arguing over the cornflakes before the race starts, then, you know, they're going to bully him and they're going to not believe his intent.
Yeah, definitely. It is Pantano, by the way. It's not Petrov. Pantano, and again, Pantano is someone, you know, you don't mess around with necessarily, but really Lapierre had him there, you know, and if Lapierre had been more confident and pushed the issue, he would have got past.
Well, he didn't quite make it that time, but he appears to be building yet again. It's very, very tight racing, just a little bit further down off the front here. And, well, Zuber just continues like a metronome to extend himself out front. He's dragging Mike Conway around with him, you have to say. The gap between that pair and Glock is trying to chase them down. It's 4.6 seconds now, and that is a fair old interval, you've got to say.
Yeah, interesting that last time around Glock was fastest of all, 31.9, which wasn't quite the fastest lap of the race, but pretty close to it.
Well, Glock, incidentally, bossed 2 of the sectors here, so he's more than happy. This is in qualification. He's more than happy to actually push it to the absolute limits in at least 2 of the sectors. He just can't string it all together. Zuber, incidentally, wasn't fastest in any of the sectors during qualification, but just strung together that nice, smooth drive, and you can see it here to absolute perfection. This is the guy who just manages to thread it cleanest of all.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice if you can be fast in a sector. It's not critical if you can be sort of second or third fastest in every sector. Often that is good enough for pole, and it's, you know, for a race, that's all you need as well as a good consistent car.
Well, there's no reason for them to come in at the moment because they're posting sub 133s, and I can tell you that the top 6 are doing all of that. Everyone else is a good deal slower, I have to tell you. And, well, there you are, confirmation of the 2 drivers who have already left us here. And unfortunately for them and their team, a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult season once again for them, isn't it?
DPR,
it's a real hard time.
Seems to go from bad to worse for them. Mind you, iSport probably would have said the same thing last time out. They were just waiting for luck to change, and as far as Andrea Zuber is concerned, he's got all that he needs out there. He just needs to keep it clean and just hope that the rest of them don't manage to rebuild their challenge. Conway is really pushing Zuber though, and he's keeping him very honest there. The gap is absolutely static with those 2. They're almost staying safe, and why should you make your lunge right now? He's going to wait, Conway, until after the change, and if he's still within striking distance, he's going to have a crack. Yeah,
Nakajima's coming. He's really been stuck in behind Di Grassi and losing time, so that's a good example of why you would come in, get new tyres on, and hopefully get out in a bit of clean air. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the front, Zuber, he's been about a tenth a lap quicker than Conway has, and just inching away, just lap by lap, but certainly no great strides.
Well, Mike Conway knows the track, as we've already told you, and is more than capable of having a go at Zuber, and will do towards the end, you can be sure of that. Meanwhile, we've got one of the changes going on here, tidily done and away. A lot of belief in the equipment and in the crews as well, and tidily here, bedding into traffic way down, and this will play into Nakajima's hands here. A bit of clear track, give him a chance to stretch himself, because in qualification, well, many said that he should really have finished in second place, just save for a little error and a little bit of traffic right towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, every driver got their own story, haven't they, about how they should have gone quicker. I mean, certainly Glock feels hard done by, funny enough, by Nakajima.
Yeah.
He was balked on the real hot lap. Nakajima just wandered into his path. Glock had to abort the lap. And the next lap Glock tried, he made a mistake and went off. So, you know, Glock said if Nakajima hadn't got in my way, I would have been on the front row. So everyone's got a story to tell, you know, it's that's typical post-qualifying stuff.
His first top 8 start in 07. He's worth a lot more than that, isn't he?
He is. He's been a real revelation for me this year. I think he's no doubt got huge talent. Super quick. Someone going slow there, isn't there? Who's just going slow here?
Very slow, and I'm hoping it's not.
It's one of the Durango cars, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, we'll find out for you in just a moment. It's Borja Garcia. We'll get confirmation on that in just a moment's time. You were saying, go.
Yeah, Nakajima, I think he's a very talented lad. I think he just needs to knock a few rough edges off. He's a bit wild. Certainly the first meeting at Bahrain, he had a few incidents he got involved in which were a bit silly, but he's got speed, no question.
Well, Dan's more than pleased with him, and the one car of Amamula is coming back out, and he came in sort of off around 7th or 8th position. I'll just get his rejoining position for you in a moment. 26 laps remaining, and the leaders just staying absolutely solid out there. No thoughts whatsoever about coming in. Just taking a look at Adam Carroll, who's currently running in 4th place, still has to stop. And the man who found pole here in 2006 has been brought in to replace Pizzoni, has been sacked by FMS, and suddenly got their best qualification run this season. Adam Carroll, he's an absolute solid performer, isn't he?
He is. He's a great racer, actually, and you can see what there's a bit of a mix-up here. Looks like someone's got a bad run through Beck.
Sliding down and settling itself. A little rip-off comes off from De Grazia as the ART man makes his way into the pits here.
Yeah, go back to Adam Carroll. He's doing a fantastic job. He's keeping Glock very, very close. You know, the championship leader's not getting away from him.
De Grazia coming in off 6th place, and well, he'll be bedding back in around about 11th or 12th. Well, the attrition rate here, Gareth, Negrão is out, and they just keep on falling.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've only lost 3, which is Negrão, Bakarud and Suchek, the 2 DPR cars.
I didn't see what was the problem with Negrão.
I don't know. I think he may have been the car that was pulled off between Club and Abbey. You know, we saw a car pull off to the right-hand side. Yeah, I think he maybe just basically pulled off with a mechanical failure.
So none of the leaders have stopped yet, and why on earth would they? As we just take a look at this.
Yeah, getting his nose cut off there.
Little battle here. Back down in 21st place, though. He's along with Albuquerque, and there you'll find just towards the end Nicolas Lapierre and Moldando as well. Nakajima, the leader of those who've actually made their stop, and Nakajima in a lot of clear track out there. I can't imagine the leaders still, though. Glock's decided that he's going to make the break because he's just not managing to close the gap on Zuber and Conway out front. It'll be interesting to see just how he manages once he's back in.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision, that one, isn't it? Because he was in clean air, but clearly struggling to A, catch up with Zuber and Conway, and B, keep Adam Carroll at bay. So maybe he is not happy with his tyre balance.
I think precisely that. He just wants a whole new set and give it another go, because he was struggling there, 3rd and 4th spot, and well, he got a decent start. Don't forget, he led off row 3, but clearly not happy. And when you're not, as well, when doubt creeps into your mind, Gareth, you know, as a driver, you know, you just start thinking, is it the tyres? Well, we're going to find out right now.
Yeah, lose faith in the car.
Wait for him to get his his temperatures up, and then we'll keep an eye on his lap times for you out front.
Yeah, I'm sure ideally he would like to have had a bit of wing taken off or put on, but in GP2 there isn't the facility for that. You see Indy cars and champ cars, they often come in for a pit stop, put the new tyres on, quick to a couple of turns of wing, takes no time at all. In GP2 you can't do that, unfortunately.
Well, we got to this time. Mike Conway is in. So the leaders are starting to think about it, and I think, just as you were saying as well, Gareth, he's not closing that gap on Zuber, just a little bit, almost doesn't want the comparison to be made lap after lap. Just get himself elsewhere on the grid, and then at least you can blame traffic.
Yeah, I must admit, again, I'm surprised that he stopped. I mean, he was losing ground to Zuber, but it wasn't a great deal. You know, it wasn't a great deal of time. It was about a 10th a lap, that's all. So I'm surprised he chose to come in. He was in fairly clear air, under no pressure, doing very competitive lap times. So it does seem odd to come in and now sort of plunge yourself back into a position where you might be in a bit of traffic, you know, traffic that's yet to stop, and critically is slower than you are.
Well, Petrov, who spun in qualification, so we didn't really get the best look at him, currently running up in 4th place, and he may well just improve slightly on that as well. Conway's found himself in 3rd. That is a tremendous effort to come in and still be up there in the podium spot.
Yeah, no, I think that showing in 3rd, I think, is still to shake out. Often it takes a lap to shake it out on the time, so...
Well, Petrov's still in there, and chasing down that magic 33 mark. The leading pair of Zuber and Carroll now still well and truly under the 33 marker by, well, a good half second by Adam Carroll. A 32.5 he's just posted, and Zuber makes his move at long last. It is getting a little bit more overcast out there, Gareth. There's a lot of big cloud around. Thankfully, at least for the feature race here, we are suspecting that there may well be a little bit of rain tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, certainly today is a better day than yesterday, isn't it? We've got more sun, it's warmer, it's less gusty than it was. I mean, it's gusty like it was yesterday. It's so hard, you know, it's such inconsistent for the drivers. You know, you turn into Cops, for example, is it going to be blowing, is it not? You just don't know whether to lean hard on the car, whether you're to get understeer, oversteer. Makes it very, very difficult.
Got a little bit of pickup. He's more than happy with the way the car is handling. Clearly will have been asking for exactly the same, thank you very much. So Adam Carroll that's at the top of our timing sheets at the moment, and Adam has just posted a 1:32.082 as well.
Zuba's out just in front of Conway. Now the key thing here, don't forget, is Conway's got good heat in his tyres. Now we saw yesterday how long it takes to get heat into these tyres. Okay, today's warmer, still going to be hard. So I think for the next lap or so, Conway's going to have Zuba under serious pressure.
No, we shall see.
He's getting a good slipstream.
We're on board with Conway now. Big hole being punched in the air by the man who's only just come out of the pits after making his compulsory stop. Our pole sitter Zuba, he's starting to find the temperature right now. He is more than adept at holding the chargers off, but Mike Conway knows this course, and his record from the front row absolutely unbeatable. He's won the last 4 races the way he's actually started from the front, albeit in F3. It's a bigger boys game this, but that was a tremendous piece of work to actually hold off. Zuba doing well, and Maldonado, I beg your pardon, just getting it a little bit dirty, and those around him just have to watch out when that happens as well. Losing a little bit of stability going into that curve, but just not quite holding on.
Well, he got past Rodriguez.
Yeah, sorry. Forgive me. Oh, Carroll is out front. He did get by Rodriguez. Just glancing at the timing screen momentarily, and this is a cracking battle up front, Gareth.
Yeah,
temperature's just starting to come back to Zuba.
Yeah, Zuba's done enough now, I think, to hold Conway at bay. I think if Conway was going to do it, it had to be on that lap there. He was close enough. Zuba was on cold rubber. Now it's kind of settled down. Zuba's tyres will be pretty much up to temperature, not quite optimum temperature, but certainly very good. And I think I'll be very surprised if Mike can make a challenge now.
I have to say, during the pit stop, although they were on a real hurry up there, they were so well practiced. You have to say, the ice sport boys.
They were. I mean,
very cool.
Zuba just missed his apex coming through Beckett's there. I don't think it's going to cost him on the run to Stowe. But yeah, the overall result of a race, you've got to make sure you're really polished.
Well, out of those who are at the back and have got an awful lot of work to do, Amma Muller is running in 15th place, Senna down in 17th, although he did start right towards the end of the field, don't forget, after yesterday's qualifying problems. 21 laps remaining, and there the gap between Carroll and Petrov. And look at Carroll's time. He's just gone sub 1:32. An absolutely tremendous run by him, Gareth.
Yeah, I think he's pushing hard, and he knows now is the chance for him to, as his team boss there, Giancarlo Fisichella, now is the chance to try and do some real quick times right before his pit stop. Try and open a bit of a gap at the front. His gap currently to Petrov is 21.5. Petrov also hasn't pitted, so his realistic gap to Zuba in third is 32 seconds. And that's going to be close. That
is going to be very, very close. Adam Carroll, who's come in here, as we've already told you, to replace Pitsonia and doing the business here. And talk about waving your own flag. You come into a team, FMS have not qualified as well as Adam Carroll managed to get them on the third row of the grid, just behind Timo Glock, who's had a wealth of experience so far this season, particularly with ice sport. And then, he's up against the very, very best and finds himself posting times here that we've just not seen.
Yeah, it's funny how it goes, isn't it? We've seen that this year with drivers who have stood in for Michael Ammermuller, who broke his wrist in the first race at Bahrain. He then missed a couple of race weekends. And both the guys who stood in for him, Alishin and Buemi, particularly Buemi, did great jobs. Both scored points, which Ammermuller hasn't managed this year. Buemi out-qualified De Grassi and put it on the second row at Monaco, somebody we've never seen before. Who's that? It's one of the ice sport cars, Glock.
Oh, desperate moments.
Is he being penalised? He's being penalised, isn't he? Because he's in the stop-go area?
Well, I'm just wondering what and why. Is he in the stop-go area? Or has he actually come to a halt ignominiously? Well, he's not getting out of the car, Gareth, and nobody's rushing to him.
Very strange. There's the ice sport boys on the pit wall.
Well, we'll clearly find out for you. Garcia, incidentally, just momentarily while we're waiting to see what's happening here. Adam Carroll out front still hasn't stopped. Neither has Petrov. Everybody else just about. Tahinchi still has to stop, although he's going to be drifting an awful long way further back than that. It's Carroll that you've got to be concerned with, and exactly where he's going to come out. Well, we're not being indicated here, Gareth, as to why this is being held up.
No, you could see Timo on the radio there, because he's pressing the button on his wheel, talking to the team on the radio. But I can't understand why. There goes the guy's run down with the battery, so he's clearly needing a restart.
Well, I just wonder whether he'd actually been brought in for a penalty and then stalled it.
It could be, and he can't restart it without the jump battery.
I suppose that's one.
But I would expect if he was stopped for a penalty, I'd expect it to be stewards stood around, marshals stood around the car. Nobody was there. It was all on his own.
Absolutely nobody. We're looking at Adam Carroll here out front. We just saw Garcia come in a moment ago, and he's had a couple of good runs through the field, Garcia, in the past, but. For the time being, just taking a look at you.
Well, Carroll needs to get in now. I mean, his lap times have dropped off to low 32s, whereas Zuber and Conway are both going quicker than that. So there's really no benefit to Adam staying out now. He's got to get in and get new rubber on.
And you're looking at him now, Gareth, and you're just seeing how mobile he is through the corners, and it's the tyres that are just starting to say ta-da to him, and now he's going to bid them a fond farewell, and this is exactly what we need to see from Adam Carroll. Crucially, I want to see where he comes out here, because he is one heck of a competitor and has been absolutely brilliant so far in this race.
You still see Glock on the right of the screen there. Look, Glock's still doing
stuck,
nothing.
And away goes Adam Carroll. This is it. Big, just trying to get some heat into the rear end there. He's got to be careful he doesn't break the pit lane speed down. I suspect that may well be why Glock had been called in previously. Has he made it?
There's Glock, there's there's Zuber, there's Conway. Zuber's going to know. He's not going to have enough speed,
is he? It's going to be third place for him, I'm afraid. And there's the blend line. It is going to be very, very close. He's off the leash now, side by side,
Conway's
but hasn't quite got the heat. And he's just going to have to let them do their own thing just for a little while. Conway wanted that berth and wasn't going to give that away. But we've got a real tasty end to this one, Gareth. If these three start to look at each other, well, it's going to be an interesting run for home.
I think Adam would have enjoyed that. They're good mates, actually, Conway and Carroll. So I think Adam would have enjoyed taking the place off him there.
Well, Andreas Zuber as well. I'm not sure who felt most aggrieved by the incident in Magny-Cours, where the teammates of iSport got into each other, who was to blame, whether it was Zuber or Glock. Do you have a thought on it?
Personally, I would say more Zuber than Glock.
Well, there you go. So Glock's disappointment continues, and his aggrievement perhaps. 18 laps remaining in this, and well, that looks like...
See that is, isn't it?
Just trying to have a look. It's Pantano. Pantano has just found the green stuff momentarily. For our Eurosport viewers, we're just going to take a short break now. We'll be back with the action in a moment's time. On the course, or off the course I should say, not a bit of it. 17 laps remaining here in the GP2 series race at Silverstone. It's round 5 of the series, the feature race for you. And Nakajima leading Di Grazzi in 5th spot here, and out front it's Zuber making great pace for the iSport team ahead of Conway. They were 1 and 2. They started off on the front row of the grid, but Adam Carroll has been absolutely brilliant out there. He's taken advantage where others have really started to slip up, but Adam Carroll and FMS, well, talk about jumping into a hot seat and just making it your own.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. I mean, he is a great racer, and that move he put on Di Grazzi when he took advantage of the two of them fighting, Di Grazzi and Glock fighting, was typical Adam Carroll, wasn't it? Really opportunist, great racing, just quick to see an opportunity, and that's very much his sort of modus operandi, and good to see him back.
Well, 7 different winners from 7 different teams so far this season, Gareth. It's a season that really is such a difficult one to call, this one. And it seems that success, as soon as you get it, it's snatched away from you the very next time out.
The real superstar, for example, the obvious one was last year. We had Lewis Hamilton, who was really head and shoulders above anybody else. The year before that we had Nico Rosberg, who was again very, very good. This year, less obvious. That's a big shunt. Who's that?
That is big, and just catching it into the tyres.
Dance cars, isn't it?
Lapierre losing it. And I'm just wondering, Gareth, we saw an engine going, and I think it was Pantano's engine just let go, and I wonder if he's left any kind of fluid out there on the track.
Yeah, I would expect it to have shown itself by now. I mean, that's a good 2 laps since we saw Pantano dropping his oil with his blow up. I suspect there, I mean, it's sometimes happened where on the way into Copse, drivers can just drop a wheel onto the grass and the braking, and it just, once that's gone onto the grass, you're away. Let's see what happened here. Coming towards the camera. Oh, we had a failure. That looked like a failure to me.
It did.
The front left upright looked like it just failed.
Well, I thought that I actually thought it was the back end that just gave in, but
you could see something just give out on the front left of the car.
We'll have a look. It was certainly on the left-hand side, and in he went. He is okay. So it was nothing to do with Pantano's engine failure. Those of you who were on commercial break just a few moments ago, Pantano's engine letting go on the course. Thankfully, it appeared that he was offline when it finally blew, but we don't know how much fluid was actually dropped. But I don't think that was the cause of that.
No, I don't. Oh, well, I thought we were going to see it again then. We're on board with Philippi, I think, aren't we there? No. That's a big hit, isn't it? And poor old Lappi had a failure last week that cost him the win at Magny-Cours. He was leading very comfortably on the sprint race on Sunday morning and had rear brake failure that pitched him into the gravel on Sunday morning. So not having a good run of mechanical reliability.
It's an expensive job, this, and well, we know that when you have a car like Viso's that was almost entirely destroyed, you were saying that it was only dampers that they actually managed to salvage from it at Racing Engineers.
That's right, so I understand the whole thing was just totally written off. The only thing they managed to save was a couple of dampers, so that just really sums up just how big that crash was. It was enormous.
Well, Albuquerque getting onto that unlucky number 15 car. He's down in 15th place for now, and 15 laps it is that remain for us out there. Looking at the number 9, Adam Carroll, who's got Conway in his sights. And everyone has now made their stops, and it's Zuber out front, as we've been saying right from the beginning of this, for iSport, and a super job he's got. What's the gap, Gareth?
Sorry, the lead gap, actually, the lead gap is only a second between Zuber and Conway. Adam Carroll is just dropping away from the front two now. He's now 3.5 seconds behind Mike Conway. And then we still got Petrov running in fourth, who still hasn't pitted yet. Oh, actually, he's come out again now.
Well, I was
so
just,
Nakajima's fourth, I'm sorry.
I was just hoping we were going to say there with Mike Conway, because he's looking absolutely solid out there. I know the tyres are absolutely at their best now. They're about 5 laps in from the stop. And but he looks so comfortable out there, and clearly it's translating itself into the gap between he and the leader Zuber at the time being. Adam Carroll just off the pace momentarily, and Nakajima, who you quite fancy for this one, he's doing well in fourth.
He is. I mean, I think he's a very good driver, as I said before. We just need to see some rough edges knocked off of him. But I do think he's a good driver. I don't think we'll see him challenge for a podium today. He's a good 9 seconds behind Adam Carroll. But he looks pretty safe in fourth place. He's a couple of seconds up the road from Degrassi in fifth. So Filippi plying his trade, and behind them, battle for 7th place raging on as well. Only 14 laps remaining here, Gareth, and I think Zuber's going to carry this one. Mind you, you can never tell at Silverstone. It really is a prison taker, and Timo Glock coming back in yet again. He's having a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly got some issue, hasn't he? We saw during the break that the mechanics had the side pod off the car, so maybe it's an electrical problem. I think that maybe the battery is playing up, so poor old Timo, there'll be 3 straight races without a finish. Now, towards the end of this one, come on, if we can just send some vibes to Mr. Conway. Carroll drive-through penalty. There you go. Now, do you think that was pit lane speeding? Yes, I would say so. Because he really lit it up, didn't he, when he was coming down? He did, but I'd be surprised. And then he hit the brakes, and then he cruised out. Yeah, I think when he lit it up, it was just a case of giving it too many revs and just dumping the clutch too eagerly. But yeah, I mean, you can understand how he did it. When we saw him come in on his pit stop, he had a big lock-up, just locked the front left as he came in. So just possibly too urgent. Didn't scrub enough speed off, yeah. Which is a shame. He had a great race, and that's a real shame at his home race. Well, nonetheless, I think FMS can take a lot away from this race, but Adam Carroll, he would have been hoping for more. We were certainly hoping for more, and I think possibly, you said his times were going off. He may well have been told that it was under consideration, which drivers can be told on occasion. 13 laps remaining in this one, and Zuber Conway, it's going to be between those two so far. Poor old Adam Carroll is going to have to come in. It is a pit lane infringement, we believe. That means he's got to drive through. Yeah, I think that'll drop him down. I mean, he is, where are we, about 20 seconds up the road from Filippi, who's in 6th. I mean, there's points down to 8th place, so it's going to be close as to whether he gets points. Well, we'll see. Well, I think he's going to be out of this one by the time he comes back, and he may well lose just a little bit of heart as well, although he's proved an awful lot to everybody today. So the best qualification for FMS is coming to not much, unfortunately. They managed to get themselves up there on the 3rd row, but poor old Adam Carroll just made that momentary lapse of concentration, just an extra little bit too much juice coming in, we think. We don't think it was on his exit. He's staying out there, though. He's not going to serve that penalty just yet. Well, you've got 3 laps, haven't you, to do it. Here's a replay of him coming in, you see. So there's the lock-up.
Yeah.
Now, the point is there. That white line is the point where they begin timing or checking the speed from.
Right.
So, difficult to say.
It's very difficult, but you only have to be over it just a little.
You do.
And it's a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of the penalty that you're going to suffer. Oh, had a little luck. Nose clipped off there.
This is for the last place on the grid. Oh, sorry, it's Chandok and Senna. I thought it was Rodriguez. It's Chandok and Senna. So it's down in 11th and 12th place.
Senna's had a good run, considering he started way back at 26. Well, it was supposed to be 26th place. It was, in fact, in the end, once we'd had a few penalties handed out, people put to the back of the grid for ignoring flags. Senna actually started on row 12 as opposed to row 13 today. It's getting very mobile out there. Back end starting to switch out. They're fighting for grip, and this battle for 11th place between Chandok and Senna. Senna's had a super run when you consider that he was so far back, 24th, and where is he now? 12th.
Yeah, if you think Chandok started on the 4th row and Senna started on the penultimate row, they've kind of met in the middle, haven't they?
He's got him. It's just out of vision. He's away, and other changes there have been as well. So 12 laps remaining, and they're still, it's going to get a little bit more hairy in the run for home here, Gareth, because the cars are looking very mobile, particularly through some of the twisty stuff. Just have a look when they come in. They're fighting to maintain control, very, very busy on board. Some drivers a lot smoother than others, and it's those who've saved their tyres here today, I suspect, who could well be taking advantage. Yamamoto there, way down the field.
He's behind Adrian Zaug.
Yep.
It's Adam Carroll coming in to serve his penalty, so he just drives straight through and back out the other side. Let's see where he comes out. Hopefully he won't drop out the points. 8th at the moment is Roldan Rodriguez.
Well, there, penalty served, and away he goes. And just look at the back end as he twitches, just trying to get out there as fast as possible. Off the leash he comes. A real shame for Adam Carroll.
He'll be furious with himself.
Yes,
furious. Well, that puts Nakajima onto the podium.
No one to blame except himself. Well, Nakajima, you're going to see him up there at long last, Gareth Rees.
Yeah.
Just as you thought.
I'd rather not see him up there at the expense of Adam Carroll, to be honest with you. But
so 2 stops for Adam Carroll, and
Senna with a huge moment then. That is seriously quick there. Entry to Beckett's is a lift and back hard on the power again. 6th gear.
Thing about Senna is he's spent so much of his tyres just climbing up through the field. He's moved up 12 places.
He has. He stopped very early, if you remember.
Yeah, he
was one of the very first to stop with only a handful of laps gone. So certainly you're right. His tyres will be feeling the effects now. And that's Yamamoto going past Zaug, with Villa looking to take advantage as well.
And Villa could well do. He's having a look one way. He'll try.
Zaug comes back
on the reserve.
You're not having it that easy, pal. Nice one. Nice one.
On there, and Villa's going to get the pair of them. Absolutely
I think
brilliant.
Zaug kept it. Yeah, that was great stuff. Great stuff from Zaug there.
10 laps remaining here, and the battles are not over. And who said you can't overtake? Or that it's difficult to do so if they possibly can. 10 laps only remaining in the feature race here of the GP2. And well, it's spinning down. Beautiful. Another look at this. This is exactly what I wanted to see. That's Villa in the 14 car. Now he's biding his time, just trying to.
There's
there he goes.
Yeah.
And there's Villa.
He goes on the grass actually, Zaug, doesn't he? And just manages to keep Villa at bay on the.
Well, I think Villa got it. I think Villa got it.
No, I'm not sure he did.
Let's have a look. It's Villa stalking here. There we have it.
You're right. Take it all back, Colton.
Yeah. Well, it was a beautiful move.
It's Albuquerque I'm looking at, isn't it? Because Albuquerque, Villa's teammate, was right behind the pair of them. Yeah.
All right, we'll give you that.
All right.
Yeah, Villa just stalking his prey and getting it absolutely brilliant. And the fastest lap just posted by Timo Glock. And those coming in sub 132 now are really enjoying themselves. The heat of the day is just starting to ebb ever so slightly, and the moves just continue here with 10 to go. I thought we were on a replay, but not a bit of it, and it's smoothly done as well, you have to say.
Well, that's all that Glock can go for now, isn't it? He's not going to get race points, so all he can try and do is get the point for fastest lap.
That was Senna just being done there as well, and Villa's on the move here. He's not the fastest amongst them, though. Half the field of
Senna and Chandok going absolute hammer and tongs here.
Well, they're just looking for. Oh dear, watch the nose, and they do manage to avoid each other.
At last.
Well, just getting on that side into that series there, Gareth. You want to be on the near side as we look at it, and super job. 9 to go through the haze here, and well, they're holding on to these machines, thank goodness. Just looking at Albuquerque running down in 15th place, just like his number. Yamamoto's having a right old scrap with him. Those two thankfully not taking pieces out of each other just yet. Been a remarkable lack of contact today.
Fortunately, after last week, I think we saw more than enough contact. I think these cars really aren't designed to drive into each other.
Well, 2 stops for Adam Carroll. We'll do the maths later on and find out just about where he would have finished. He's in a bit of clear space out there at the moment. He's chasing down Filippi, but, well, he's only got himself to blame. Meanwhile, Zuber, like a metronome, just keeps swinging towards the close of this one. 9 laps remaining, 8 next time by, and there's the split. It's over 2 seconds between himself and Conway, but even he is lining up the front end, and that will just give more encouragement to the man in the 17 car who's chasing him down. 8 to go, but Conway just gets his wheels a little bit dirty there. He stays in 2nd place. That's the gap between him and Nakajima back in 3rd place. It's over 12 seconds. But Conway, well, both he and Zuber are starting to make errors here, Gareth. Well, I hope we can stay with some of the front runners and have a wee look at them, because I think that's going to there's going to be a challenge mounted there.
That was a good lap from Conway, actually, that last lap, 31.7 against Zuber's 32 dead. So he pulled in to reduce the gap to 1.7 seconds. So he's certainly not letting Zuber get away.
Well, Bruno Senna here is in 11th place.
He's in form, isn't he?
He's on absolute form. Do you know what? I think it's the fact that he just does not care. He's trying to get himself through the field, and he's just bullying everybody out there.
Now, if he pulled that off, I'd have been well impressed. That's just not somewhere you try and overtake.
Gareth Rees almost out of his seat there. Last time we saw him do that was back last year when Mr. Hamilton. Else, it makes the drivers want to shine on the big days, and that's exactly what they've got here. There's no bigger stage to actually wave your own flag, as it were, than right here. And this battle is still not stopping here. You know, Senna, he has taken no prisoners. He's got to be careful he doesn't take himself out here, because his tyres, as you said, Gareth, they were changed so early in this one. But the fight, well, it just stays with him. In 11th place, Amamula, the man in front of him, and then Petrov and Rodriguez. I wonder if he can get them in 7 laps.
It's going to be a big ask, isn't it? I mean, basically, Rodriguez is the last man in the points position. He's in 8th, which also will be pole position tomorrow, because they would take
exactly.
the top 8
the
round.
bubble.
He's a long way away. I mean, he's nearly 9 seconds away with only 7 laps to go, and he's stuck in behind Amamula, and there's also Petrov in between them as well. So, you know, give it a good go by all means, but I think it's optimistic to expect that, unless we see somebody in the top 8 retire, which isn't beyond the realms of possibility.
It's clearly on Senna's mind, and it would be an amazing thing if he managed even to get himself on the front row for the sprint race tomorrow. Well, the top 8 finishers, don't forget, in the feature race get reversed for the sprint, and so that effectively is our bubble. I have to say, I'm slightly uncomfortable about all this reversing, because I just think those who are in position 8 don't really race for it in the feature race. Once they're around that bubble, if they're not being challenged, I think their race more or less ends.
You're a purist, aren't you?
I am, really.
Yeah.
6 laps to go on this one. Oh, you see what I mean? The back end just twitching out there.
Well, I mean, club corner of all places is where it will go. You know, it's just a real nasty camber there. If you keep it the right side of the camber, that's great. Once it goes over the camber, the car becomes a real handful.
And you can see just from the camera how dirty it is, but he cut the corner yet again. He's smoothing it out as much as he can, trying to get into position to make that challenge, and he will. There's no doubt about it that this great name of Senna, well, he knows how to race here. Look at this, Gareth. He's not sparing the tyres at all, or his emotions, or ours. Just dips into the dirt there momentarily, tries to find a way by, can't quite make it stick, and Amamula holds him off yet again. This is the battle for 10th place, don't forget. Both of these two, there's a whole field full, empty, I should say, an empty meadow ahead of them. This is a private battle, Gareth. I can't see in 6 laps that either one of these is gonna make it to that coveted 8th spot.
Not without the help of someone in front going off. I mean, Petrov, who's in 9th, is 6 seconds up the road. He likes that little look there. I think Amamula clearly is very slow through the middle part of Beckett's, isn't he? Because Senna is just all over him trying to get past, but there just isn't anywhere to go past. There's one single line through Beckett's, and Amamula's there in the way. Especially
when you're at these grip levels towards the end of the race, and especially when you've been on the same rubber for such a long time. He's going to have another go here, though. Round they come over the rise, just almost got the back end. He whipped himself out of it there, unfortunately, and dropped a car length. He would have been in a challenging position, but just didn't happen for him.
Yeah, back at the front, we've got the gap has opened up again slightly to 1.9 seconds now, but both Zuber and Conway lapping very, very consistently, both sort of 31.8, 31.9, 32 dead. and when the gap shuts down one lap, it opens up again the next.
Yeah, I think I daren't say that these two have accepted their finishing positions here. Zuber certainly deserves it. Brilliant qualification, and he's not done anything wrong so far this race, Gareth. And thankfully, so far, we daren't say this too loudly, the luck has held for him.
Well, like Mike Conway, Zuber was also due a change of luck, although I think last weekend's incident was probably of his own making more than luck.
There you go.
But certainly he has had issues this year. I mean, he had 2 successive races where he had first gear failure off the line, so he is deserving of a change of fortune.
Albuquerque we saw as well a little bit earlier on. He's down in 15th place, and he'd had his ill fortune in qualification here. Villa as well, who of course won in France in the sprint race. What on earth's happened to his challenge? It just shows you how there's no ballast here, incidentally. It's just that the mix of fortunes and different tracks suiting everybody else, it doesn't, a run of form, it's hard to string together here.
It is. There's only a handful of drivers who are consistently up there. Both the iSport guys are really there or thereabouts. Even people in the ART car, De Grassi, he's usually sort of top 6, but really that's not good enough. We've seen in past years Hamilton and Rosberg, who we referred to earlier on, they were always at the front. You never saw them outside the top 2 or 3, and we don't really see that beyond Glock and Zuber in qualifying. They're always at the front. The other drivers around them could be anybody, picked from sort of 10 other drivers.
So Garcia, and you can see just how much pickup there is on those tyres as well. Garcia going off, just trying to have a look why. Just dipped a tyre just straight on, and well, he's got a wheel up there which suggests it's something at the back, but he's just parked it. We'll find out for you for the sprint race tomorrow. 3 laps remaining, and that's the battle between Amamula and Senna, still raging on for 10th place. Personally, I'd like to see out front and just see how Conway's getting on, because that gap that has closed down just a little bit, and well, Zuber's time's just starting to stretch a little, you have to say.
Well, that was an interesting last lap, that, wasn't it? I mean, Zuber's best was a 32.1. Mike Conway did a 31.6. So what had been a +2 second gap has dropped right down to 1.7 seconds again. Still a comfortable gap for Zuber, but a lot to lose in 1 lap.
Yeah, an awful lot to lose in 1 lap, and I'm just wondering whether it's it may well have been the car that we saw pulling off that affected him. You never know. 3 laps remaining, 2 next time by, and this is the battles royal going on further down the course, I'm afraid to tell you. Out front it is Zuber ahead of Conway, and it's been thus since the beginning here. Adam Carroll looked like he was going to be part of the tale that was told in this first feature race. Sadly, speeding in the pit lane when he made his stop brought him a drive-through penalty, and he's down in 6th place, still very, very creditable. And Adam Carroll is going to be in a good position for the race tomorrow. As it stands, Rodriguez and Maldonado. You
have trouble with that, aren't you?
Cannot say it. Maldonado is going to be on our front row, with Adam Carroll leading off row 2 if they hold position now, and they are fairly well spaced out there, Gareth.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think there's not going to be too many changes of race position anyway.
Well, let's have a look. There's Senna.
Yamamula's run wide there. He's over that crest in the road, so he's struggling with the car now, and so Senna's done the same thing.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yep.
Yeah, they just can't quite hold on to that rear end, and it's an indication of just how the tyres are starting to say farewell just in time.
Back with the leader again. The last lap did the opposite to the lap before, where Zuber was in the mid-31s and Mike Conway dipped into the 32s.
Well, he made
so it opened up to a 2 second lap plus again.
He responded, came by the pit boards and thought, well, juice it up just a little bit. There is the gap between first and second here, and to be fair, just over 2 seconds. Well, there you go. Talk about finding the half second when you need it. That was a mighty find.
Yeah, it's not just a case of that. It's also a case of Conway losing it as well. Don't forget, they're sort of lap times up and down like yo-yos.
They are at the moment, as this one draws to a close. Our leader, and a great result finally for iSport, and justifying the fact that they've been up there and challenging right the way through this season, albeit in the hands of Timo Glock. Poor old Glock seemed to have got himself an electrical problem earlier on. Final lap, Gareth Rees. It's been a good day's work by Andrea Suber, you have to say.
It has. I mean, the iSport team as a whole, I mean, clearly Glock has taken fastest lap, even though he wasn't able to take any race points. But yeah, they'll be delighted to get themselves back on track again after the disaster that was, or the debacle that was Magny-Cours. So just good to get back on top of the podium for them.
So a mixed bag certainly, and we still stay with this battle for 10th place. Goodness only knows why, but there you go, because our leaders are coming home. Zuber, Conway and Nakajima are our podium here, but we are dwelling on this 10th spot. I think, you know, out of respect, surely we should be looking at Zuber here.
You would have thought so, but this is a good close scrap. So,
there we have it.
Glock moving over, get out of the way.
Thank heaven for that. Thank heaven for that. Scared the pants off me for a moment. Zuber comes through. Glock just edging away. He's got himself out there to find out exactly what is up with the vehicle. And we stay with our leader, Zuber, ahead of Conway and Nakajima. It's been a great race for Andreas Zuber. First career pole in GP2. He was not fastest in any single sector during qualification, but threaded his way through the smoothest of all of them, and he's held on to take the checkered flag here and victory. Super job by him after all the travails that they've had. The iSport team, well, he's done it here. He's brought it home, and a great effort as well by Mike Conway at Supernova. Super job by him, you have to say. Nakajima as well on the podium. Hats off to him. He's pleased as well, punches the air, and you can see just how well spaced they were. They come alongside each other, offer themselves congratulations. Mike Conway, super job as well.
Yeah, I'm really pleased for him, actually. You know, he's been overdue some good fortune, and he drove very well today. Really pleased to see it. The only disappointment is that Adam Carroll wasn't able to join them on the podium.
Well, the home track for Mike Conway, and he really drove like it was as well. He was swapping fastest times with Zuber out there, but Andreas Zuber really in the comfort zone, and well, thankfully his teammate Glock just moving out, and we're seeing this battle just come to an end here for 10th place. There it is, no change at all by the end. It was close though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he monstered him, didn't he, for 10 laps, yeah, but just couldn't find a way past.
Senna, absolutely brilliant. Started down there on row 12 in 24th place after going off in qualification. He was supposed to start at the back, but Susek, Tahinchi and Hirati all penalised for overtaking under flags during qualification. Zuber it is, who's our man on top ahead of Conway and Nakajima. And poor old Glock, well, he's way down there. Championship leader coming into this weekend having electrical troubles, and look at that, parked up and thrown away almost.
See, the worry is with electrical problems, they're often very hard to track down. I mean, clearly they found it for a bit, and he was able to get out and do a few laps, get fastest lap, but he's had to pull out at the very end of the race. So the worry is they won't fix it for tomorrow, and there he is there looking pretty glum.
Well, there you have it, and it'll be Rodriguez who gets it on the spin, the pole that is, for the sprint race. He finished in 8th place, just behind Maldonado. So
well
finally got it. He'll be those two will be starting on the front row. The second row for the sprint race will be led off by Adam Carroll, he alongside Filippi. Then it'll be Di Grazia and Nakajima with Mike Conway and Zuber on row 4. That's going to be interesting because they clearly had something else today in terms of pace, and I just think that you may well see either Zuber or Conway coming through for challenge for at least a podium, and maybe even the big 6 points tomorrow.
Well, we saw it last year. Lewis Hamilton won the feature race on the Saturday. Sunday started from 8th on the grid, and he won that as well, so it can be done. It
can be done, and Mike Conway and you have to say Andreas Zuber capable certainly of picking their way through. Senna proved that you can make up an awful lot of ground here, provided you get it right. No stops, of course, which really played into Senna's hands. An early stop, a lot of clear track. He is quick, and so those around him started making their stops, and he moved up because of that. And you saw how difficult it was for him later on, but it's a shorter race tomorrow, Gareth, and it may well be that we have a little bit of action there.
Yeah, I mean, he is happy with his car. That's not in question. I mean, his car is very good, and I think tomorrow everyone starts on new rubber. He won't be in a position where he's struggling with old rubber like he was just the last 10 laps of that race. He was struggling with old rubber and still very quick, so he will be a man to watch tomorrow.
Well, the breeze has dropped here, and the cars come in for their podium celebrations, and I think all three of those who've made the podium today, Gareth, are, well, they can feel very pleased, but I think they'll also be relieved, to be honest. They've all got their own reasons for needing to be up there.
Certainly, yeah, I agree with that. That's definitely true of the first two, Zuber and Conway. There will be as much relief as there is elation. You're exactly right. It's been so long time coming for both of them to get on the podium. Mike Conway admitted as much yesterday in the press conference. He said, you know, if I can finish second where I start, I'll be more than happy with that.
Well, he and Nakajima both on 10 points going into tomorrow's race, and Conway, well, he's capable of picking up another 6. We will see if he manages to do it. Great racing by both of these two. They qualified well, but they equally proved that they were the fastest out there. It wasn't just about their qualification form. When it came to race day as well, they also did it here. Super job. Well, a job well done, Gareth Rees. It was thankfully the weather stayed with us, and the tyres did exactly right, exactly the job. A lot of questions as to whether the Bridgestones were the right choice, the hard compound.
Yeah, they went the right way in the end. I think they were lucky with the weather, as you said. If it had been a cold day, been a different story.
Would have been. Great racing, as always. GP2.